Okay, so now we seem to be live again. This technique is still a bit cumbersome. Never really knows when one goes live. Anyway, local time, Saturday evening. Got some tea. Thought I'd just make a quick live broadcast. Cover some of the latest real-time happenings. The Gigabit Ethernet project. Getting the house wired for Gigabit Ethernet and set up for that. A little bit about the Nvidia RTX3000 series screw-ups. And then a bit about Fusion 360. This, of course, is if the streaming tech holds up. Yeah. Let's see. Stream health. Yeah, it usually says excellent when it crashes. But anyway, back to the good news. Now I'm running Gigabit Ethernet from the studio, and I'm still not really clear with my ISP if I have 1 gigabit to the ISP or not, because they call it something like the contract. They call it 500 gold, so whatever that means. And they've been trying to convince me that that's their variant of a 1 gigabit subscription when we ordered it a year ago. And since we're on some kind of 2-year plan, including cable TV through fiber, we can't change it to be a 1 gig connection. So 500 gold is that it can go over 500, so it's not limited to 500. But they don't promise 1. It was based on what they could offer when we signed up. Well, always read the small text when you sign up for stuff. But I'm still working on it, so I'll see if I can get it changed. Maybe I'll just opt out and pay to exit the existing contract and then re-enter it with a pure 1 gig connection. But I mean, I can do 450 megs on the broadband test. 450, 460 usually. Recommended bitrate. Recommended use of stream bitrate is high. Now it's the stream's current bitrate is higher than what is recommended bitrate. I can't even read this text. Oh, there. What was it? 99,500 kilobits per second. I'm running, I don't know, 51,000 kilobits per second. Yeah, I could reduce it to 10 and see what happens. Probably just failed. So now one has to actually go to my streaming software, and then I have to go into the settings on the streaming software, broadcast, custom RTMP settings. You know, it's just like every time I start a live stream, then I spend most of my time fiddling with the settings. Okay, so if we put in, let's cheat a bit, if we put like 12,000, just to go a little bit over what they want to have, so, and that should auto-adjust to reduce the bandwidth. But it's cool now, I can actually, with my 1 gig connection in-house and then the 500 gold, I can actually max out the streaming bandwidth. That's kind of cool. But still, when I'm watching the real-time feed through the YouTube Studio, then it's still there's a delay on the time. So I see a delayed image of myself. It's kind of disturbing. Anyway, let's see. So anybody else out there running 1 gigabit wired network at home? Let me know in the comments. So let's hit that subject first. Not very many viewers, so I think I'll... Let's see now where I'll put it. A little bit of notes so we can follow along here. I think the stream will be like, I don't know, 45 minutes or something. And then we call it a day. I don't know if we'll be able to cover all the subjects. Chuck it in the comments if you want to change the subject or something. Or when you want to ask questions. It's not fixed in stone what we discuss. Yeah. And the original idea was that since we upgraded to, or I thought I had upgraded to a 1 gig internet connection, which is still debating with the ISP. This is the case, whatever the 500 gold contract is. They're still trying to convince me that that's the most cost efficient. Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, 1 gig on the contract is 1 gig, not 500 gold. But they're trying to tell me that but it's the, you know, you got such a good offer, such a good price. So, I mean, I do know maybe hitting 1 gig on the internet connection would not really be that sane, because whether you actually get it coming off the internet at 1 gig is, it's probably not that many instances where you would actually be a bottleneck. But you know, I'm a bit of a purist. I'd like to have the contract say 1 gig and not 500 gold. But anyway, hey, yeah, I'm rambling here. Back to basics. I mean, my main reason for switching out the... I mean, I'm running mainly wireless. I was running wireless completely for the whole house. And I've gone through several high-end consumer wireless routers, both from Asus and Linksys. And have a whole pile of clients, both running 2.4 and 5 megahertz equipment. And I mean, the throughput hasn't been that bad. It's like 140, 160 megabits per second. But definitely not enough bandwidth to max out even the theoretical 500 megabit connection I have going onto the internet. I mean, the biggest issues I've been having is random dips in performance. You know, sometimes the wireless has been working fine, and then sometimes it just dips in performance, and then you get random disconnects. So suddenly the client, your PC, will just disappear from the wireless network, and no idea why. I've been trying extenders, but they're a nightmare. Gee, in my case, they made the network worse. Because what happened is the extender gets disconnected from the main wireless network, and then all the devices connected to the extender die. Or they still think they have a wireless connection, but they actually get nowhere. So no, I took away the extenders again. And then this random denial of service, where, now that's disturbing, watching myself with a time delay in the YouTube live studio monitoring software, watching myself off like 40 seconds ago. Yeah, random denial of service, so suddenly the client will drop off the net, off the wireless network, and then it will say that the password is incorrect or whatever other thing, and then you need to either reboot the router, in the worst case where you kill all the connections and all the clients, or you have to reboot the client in question. So anyway, my thoughts behind that was just it's probably just overloading on the wireless networks. Possible intermittent external disturbances from some source I don't know about. Or there is a faulty piece of equipment either in our house or somewhere very close that's actually causing some interference. But anyway, I just wanted to skip that. So what I want to do is to max out what I pay for. So in terms of the ISP connection, even if it turns out to be a 500 plus connection that I can actually utilize theoretically or practically, at least I can pull that data or send that data. I can't send it because all ISPs have upload limitations. You usually max out at like 1. Nobody has a symmetrical 1 gig connection. So the upload is always limited to something like 100 megabits. Yeah, reliability. I mean, the cable network will, at least in from years previous where I've had a more wired network style, and reliability has been much higher. And they reduced the load and the reliance on the Wi-Fi. So we're still going to have Wi-Fi because, of course, you need it for cell phones and tablets and some pieces of equipment where it's not sane or possible to run a cable. But if one takes away wireless clients, then we will increase the bandwidth for the ones that are going to exist and increase the performance. Yeah, and then I had some installation objectives. I've been thinking about this for some time. I didn't want to make any holes in walls, so I had to think of a solution that doesn't require drilling holes in walls. I didn't want to disrupt any existing installations. Like some people have replaced their cable. They actually have. This house also has a wiring for cable TV, which is defunct now. It's disconnected from the mains when fiber was installed for the houses. Some people ripped that cabling out and replaced it with Ethernet cabling. And then low cost in terms of parts and installation. So not to go overboard with that. I mean, I haven't been doing it the cheapest possible way. No attic diving. Not for me. It's got fiberglass insulation up there, and I die every time I need to go do something in the attic. No high ladders. Not that I need high ladders on this house that I have. It's a single-story solution. And then I wanted to also be able to replace the networking infrastructure, the physical networking infrastructure, if it ever became needed to upgrade the cable type to Cat 11 or whatever it will be coming down the road. Then I don't have to rip wires out of walls and stuff. Just a relatively easy replacement. Yeah, so that's the main rundown of that. Now as I said, the live stream is a little bit more like what's currently already happened and not a little bit delayed like the YouTube videos are. So I've already installed the cabling outside on this. So the YouTube studio now has a 1 gig connection to the router at least. And it seems to be enabling a stable live stream, so I've been going for 17 minutes now, and the live stream hasn't crashed, and it's running at full speed. Of course, here I can't see the quality of the live stream, like audio or... Yeah, I mean, put a comment in the chat, like what do you think the quality of the audio and video is. Can you even hear what I'm saying? Or maybe I'm just... That's the thing, I can't check what's actually going out. Yeah, back to the... Yeah, so now I've done the external wiring, and then I've started on the internal wiring. Part of it's done. And then I ran into an issue with the solution I was using to get through doors and windows, the flat cable. Executive summary, if you use one of them, you kill the 1 gig connection. You can't get a 1 gig connection. You can get up to max 100 megabit. And if you put 2 of those pass-throughs in series, like you go out a window and then you go with a network cable along the wall outside, and then you come in through a window, and then you absolutely massacre the network speed. You can get 10 megs or nothing, and so those are going to go now. I'm sad. I'll be coming out with a video on that. They have to go. So sadly I have to go and uninstall all the instances of those cables and replace them with a new solution. I'm going to be having stuff coming in another couple of weeks. But otherwise, I mean, the cabling's in place, and the ports that I've activated work, and even the most remote location, it gets a 10 meg connection for now. It's good enough for my son. The latency of the network is still very low, so he does mostly gaming, online gaming, and a little bit of video watching. So 10 meg network works fine. But I'm going to upgrade it to 1 gig. Actually, yeah. So that was the Gigabit Ethernet project. So. Yeah, and then I found out that I haven't got enough ports in the switches, so I tried to go cheaper on switches, and not that they're that expensive. I stupidly cheaped out on those, and then I bought 8-port ones, and then I've found out that, or was it 5 or 8 ports? Whatever. When I started now deploying and putting them into different rooms, then I found out that somehow I just don't have enough ports, and I don't like the idea of a switch being full, like that. Okay, now it's okay. I filled all, used all the ports, and I connected the existing equipment, because you want to add equipment. So what I've done now is I've actually gone and invested in more switches with more ports, and then I'm going to move them around so that we'll always have only any individual location. We have like 3 ports. Another tea. Drink water next. Ice water. Yeah. Nvidia RTX3000 series. What a mess. Let's see. Any comments on that? It's probably in my other notes. Yeah, I made a rant video about that also. Oh, I mean, what a mess. I mean, they sold everybody down the river with this one. I mean, everybody's just like onto this game. I mean, doesn't anybody remember what the RTX release was like, the first gen? Oh. I mean, now they've been running benchmarks on them. Okay, so I think that the remaining issue is still, like I mentioned in my video, that its compatibility, and then, I mean, the power requirements are quite large, physical size, each generation. And then availability, because of course there's no, at least in my region, there's no way you can even buy one of those cards, and definitely if you couldn't buy it for the MSRP they've been promised. And then the technical, which is basic compatibility and design issues with the capacitors. So let's actually go through this historical thing. So my point on, has anybody forgotten the RTX release? I think that's very valid. Because now a lot of the people that have been reviewing these cards are coming back and saying, well, yeah, not so good as we expected. I mean, this is the thing, the Nvidia marketing department must be having super bonuses and parties on this with everybody just saying how great everything is even before they even got the first card. So anyway, from my video, the availability is still low. Ain't no hope of getting one of those cards around here. No idea at what price when they do actually come. And then the thing is that they do cost quite a lot. It's like $500 up. So I mean, you can buy a mid-level gaming PC for that price. I'm not even talking about consoles with game card access. So I think that's what Nvidia's racing against time. Because, you know, next gen consoles and then AMD releasing their next generation graphics card. I mean, even if they wouldn't be as good as Nvidia cards, who cares if they would be like half price and with a little bit more performance. Intel, not a big believer in. They're very I would think they're very practical. They just say, okay, what market share do we have? What market share do we want to have? What segments do we want to sell in, and what do we don't want to sell in? And I mean, they're quite happy where they are. I mean, they're selling crap loads of graphics technology into like lots of different categories of PCs for business and consumer use. They just don't go for the high-end gaming like Nvidia does. I don't think they care about that. I mean, if they're selling that kind of stuff, then they're selling it to data centers for compute. Make much more profit though. And then of course this ray tracing being not truly ray tracing. I think that, oh look, it's a lot faster. Yeah, but it isn't true ray tracing anymore, is it? I mean, I know it's good, and I know it has performance, but still, you know, if one really wants to get nitty-gritty about it, it's not pure ray tracing anymore. And then the power needs and heat generation. Yeah. And then drivers. Yeah, we've seen that. Drivers have been already updated. Oh, sorry, we need to make sure it doesn't overclock itself too aggressively so the capacitors stop filtering and then the system crashes. Oh, here's a downgrade driver for you. It's got quite a good performance margin, so even they could cut down on its performance and it will be adequate. But then, of course, the value proposition when it comes to the price. So anyway, that was my rant about the Nvidia GTX3000. Yeah, leave in the comments if you have your own ideas. It's time 25 minutes. Just looking at the stats here. Exit stream, no thank you. Why do I want to do that? No, there. Stream settings, analysis, stream health. Oh, still says it's excellent. Okay. My hope is that I will one of these days like just stop needing to look at these stats. I can just rely on the fact that it's actually working. Okay. Audio stream is 0. Audio stream rate. Oh, great. Poor connection now suddenly. Okay. I hope we have some kind of audio going out. Okay, well, that message disappeared about the audio. I still hope that people are hearing what I'm saying. Poor connection, it says. Oh, well, we continue. At least we'll have a recording of this that I can post. Let's see, what was the next? As I said, we'll keep it to about 45 minutes. So, let's see. That was the Fusion 360 stuff. That's also excitement and lots of things to rant about in 2020. Let's see here. I don't know those, if anybody knows what the Fusion 360, what is a 3D design modeling software. Very common, used by people that do 3D designing for 3D printing, for example, or milling and stuff. Now it's made by Autodesk, and Autodesk was coming out suddenly with a drastic change in the plan they have for the free version. So they went ahead and they started removing functions from the free version, basically with a very little notification. And there was a bit of a backlash from the community, and then they started reinstating functions after the fact. I was like, okay, now you're suddenly going to remove stuff that are critical for the design process that you had in the free version, and now you're going to suddenly put them back again? I mean, what is this like? Will they disappear again tomorrow, or what? And the communication from Autodesk has been actually pretty awful. It hasn't been very clear at all. And then there was also, read between the lines, hints that they want to restrict the designs to Fusion 360 only. So you actually have to have the Fusion 360 to access your designs. But I don't know. They probably won't after this backlash. They hopefully won't. I mean, the thing is that, I mean, I could pay a subscription fee, but not like 40 to 50 USD a month as a maker hobbyist. I mean, I could if they provided a basic edit stripped down version, take the simulation stuff away, and then said, okay, you can have it for $10-15 a month. I could go for it. I mean, it's like a Netflix, you know, sort of Spotify account type thing. That would be more reasonable, and they would not need to with that. And then they could just like very easily bolt on services, like if you want to run a simulation, then you pay $5 a pop or whatever. I mean, that would be more better than just to or just outright take the free version away. Say that they're not interested in the community supporting anymore, and just take it away. The community can move on and fix it. I mean, it's not like there isn't other tools available. And that was another thing that annoyed me, that it seems like Autodesk thinks that the community has no value. I mean, the community makes literally tens of thousands of hours of marketing material for Fusion 360 every day. And I mean, you know, it's quite an investment from makers and the community. I mean, they have to learn Fusion 360, they have to develop ideas, produce products, you know, distribute their production and market it. So I mean, it's, and I mean, Doesn't cost Autodesk anything. They don't take any risk. And as I said, with alternatives, there's alternatives like FreeCAD and many others that can actually get you up to a certain level. Anyway, I'm shelving Fusion 360 now until the year changes. See if the policy becomes a bit clearer, and then I'm going to invest time in increasing my learning of FreeCAD. That's an alternative. I mean, yeah, alright. I mean, the what's different between FreeCAD and Fusion 360 is primarily that there's a different button logic. You know, there's a slightly different logic of how you do exactly the same things. I would say, feature-wise, I don't think that Fusion 360 has that much of an edge. Plus, the thing is, in my experience of using Fusion 360 in comparison to FreeCAD, that FreeCAD has, with the latest incarnations, started to crash less, and Fusion 360 more. But that's, of course, very subjective. Actually, from my perspective, it's an objective analysis, because that's a fact. I can get Fusion 360 to crash in more instances than I can get FreeCAD to crash. And I mean, you must understand that these are horrendously complicated 3D modeling software packages, both of them. So I would never put a like it should always work requirement on a 3D CAD software package. I mean, even the most expensive CAD systems, like Pro Engineer or Creo, I mean, those cost like, you know, more money than I ever can make. Like, yeah, very expensive professional CAD packages, and I mean, in my professional career, I've seen them crash also. So, yeah, it's not like they don't contain bugs. But I mean, I think that the Autodesk should be a little bit more careful of how they treat the community, because before there maybe was a little bit less options for alternatives, but now I think the world has caught up on Autodesk, and there is always the possibility for the community to say, okay, now we've had it. Because it's not the first time that Autodesk has turned around and said, oh, you know, now we're going to redefine the definition of the free version. I mean, I agree with Autodesk. I mean, you shouldn't use it for professional use, but I mean, you basically can't. I mean, it's license restricted. And, yeah. So that's that. Oh, I hope the Fusion 360 will sort itself out. But for hobbyist purposes, I'm going to continue increasing my knowledge of FreeCAD. Oh, stream is back to good health. So that's nice to see. So I don't understand this audio stream. It's still saying the audio stream is 0, so that means there's no audio getting through. And of course I can't check that if it is or isn't. Let's see if I can... see here on the sending side. I don't think I can even see that. There's no sign of what's happening with the audio on the sending side. Ah, hope it's working. Be a bit sad if I've been rambling for 45 minutes and nobody could hear what I'm saying. So let's see. Back to the main page. Anyway, I thought that was just the ramblings for this evening, and I'm going to go off and get some sleep. And yeah, see you in the next live stream then. I think I'll continue trying this from time to time. So, alright.